Hi everybody. I want to give you a quick little tutorial on some of the problems that you're going to see on the back of the worksheet we did yesterday with the X and Y intercepts. So what I kind of set up here is the format for standard form, and the ones we did on the front all had X and Y on the same side of the equal sign. So we had the format of AX plus BY equals C. And all of the front ones were set up perfectly because then we could do the cover-up method. Okay, now, the one I'm going to show you right now, if you notice, here's my equal sign. On the left side of it, we have the Y, and on the right side, we have the X. So before we can do this cover-up method that we did yesterday, we have to get this X so that it's in the same position as the standard form is set up. Okay, so I'm going to take the positive 3X, and if we move it to the other side, we can slide it over here. All right, but if we move sides, if we move a term, remember that's also going to change the sign of our term. So now instead of a positive 3x, we have a negative 3x, okay? These terms don't have a sign in between there. So since 4y was positive, I'm just gonna add a plus sign. So now I have a negative 3x plus 4y, both on the same side, and then my constant with no variables on the right. And that's, now we're in good shape. Now we can rock and roll. Okay, so now, to get my x-intercept, if you want to put this in your notes, we're going to cover up the y term. In other words, let y equal 0. All right, so take a look at your y term. If this becomes 0, 4 times 0 basically drops out. It's gone. So now our equation is negative 3x equals 12. If we divide by negative 3 on both sides, my x-intercept would be negative 4. So as an ordered pair, that would be negative 4, comma 0. Okay, so we got our x-intercept, and then we can basically play the same game. Now that it's in standard form, you can use cover-up method. The kicker is you got to have the x and y on the same side of the equation. All right, so we got our x-intercept. To get the y-intercept, we're going to cover up the x term. And again, in other words, we're going to let x equal 0. All right, so if we go to our standard form, if this x is 0, negative 3 times 0 becomes 0. So bye-bye term. And now we just have a really simple equation. Well, 4 times what gives me 12? Divide both sides by 4. So your y-intercept becomes 3. All right, and so my ordered pair, remember that if we're y is equal to 3, the 3 goes in the y position. All right, and once we get these 2 points, we put them on the x and y axes, we draw the line, and then you can graph it, and we're done. Okay, so this is kind of the setup for the back side. I think it's problem number 3 on the back. Use this to help you out. All right, come on over, I'm going to show you example 2. I think this is number 4 on the worksheet, but if you notice, this one has fractions in it, and we can, and the other problem is the x and y are on opposite sides. So we could certainly graph this right now as it is. We know we have a y-intercept of 2. We know we have a slope of rise 1, run 4. So we could use that method to graph. We know our slope is 1/4. So that's all familiar territory. But if you wanted to use the cover-up method, we could still do that. The only problem is, let's look back at our standard form. If we want it set up in standard form, we can't have fractions. All right, so let's come back over here. And when we look at this one, our strategy to get rid of the fractions was to look at the denominator and say, okay, well, common denominator is 4. So I can multiply the numerator by 4 on every term. So then we get 4y equals, well, 1 times 4 is 4. Divided by 4 just gives me 1x plus, and then 2 times 4 is 8. And so to get this in standard form, we just subtract 1x on both sides. And so in standard form, we have a negative 1x 4y is positive, so plus 4y equals 8, and then you could just use your cover-up method to get your intercepts. All right, try the last 3 problems on the back of the worksheet. See you tomorrow.